Let's go to Westfield, Indiana. It's August, the Midwestern heat is suffocating, the humidity is absolutely relentless, and down on the practice fields at Grand Park, you quickly learn a very brutal, fundamental truth about professional football. A superstar, a marquee name on a billboard, well, they can win you a game in September, but a reliable backup, the guys grinding it out in the shadows, they are the ones who win you a championship in January. Right now, the Indianapolis Colts are quietly laying the literal foundation for their 2026 season. And sure, the cameras, the media, they're naturally drawn to the franchise cornerstones. But the real tension, the sheer desperation, and the razor-thin margins that will absolutely define this team's ceiling when the playoffs roll around is happening deep down the depth chart. We're talking about men fighting for their livelihoods, where every single rep, every single snap, and every swing of a leg carries massive career-altering weight. You are watching NFL Nexus. This is your premier destination for the most detailed, cinematic football analysis on the web. Before we break down the critical chess match happening right now at Colts camp, make sure to subscribe, hit that like button on this explainer, comment your opinion down below, and support the channel by becoming a member. We bring you the stories that go way beyond the headlines, and today we are looking at a team standing at a fascinating, high-stakes crossroads. Here's our roadmap for this explainer. 1. 2 crucial roster battles. 2. The kicking duel. 3. A tale of two legs. 4. Protecting Jonathan Taylor. 5. Emerging at running back. And 6. The ultimate test. Section 1. 2 crucial roster battles filling the final voids. So let's step back and look at the macro perspective of what this front office is actually attempting to achieve right now. When a general manager and a head coach construct a 53-man roster, it's not just a list of names. They are effectively building a highly volatile living puzzle. Think about it. You can have the most explosive passing offense in your entire division. You can boast a defensive line that absolutely terrifies opposing quarterbacks. But if you have a void at key situational positions, the entire structure is prone to collapsing the second you face real crunch time adversity. Right now, the Colts are staring down 2 critical voids that have the very real potential to make or break their season. One is completely isolated out on special teams, and the other is situated directly behind their most important offensive weapon. The coaching staff knows that identifying the right men for these specific jobs isn't just about surviving the dog days of the preseason. It is about securing the hidden points and the hidden yardage that consistently swing those tight playoff races. Who will step up to fill these final roster voids? That is the ultimate question hanging over the practice turf. While the stars dominate your social media feeds, true football fans understand that the margin for error in the NFL is practically non-existent. These position battles, they are fundamentally about trust. Think about how seasons actually end in this league. It's rarely a massive blowout. No, they end when a backup running back hesitates for a split second, misses a crucial A-gap blitz pickup on a freezing January night, and gets the franchise quarterback destroyed on 3rd down. Or they end when a kicker shanks a 42-yarder wide right with zeros on the clock. The coaching staff is desperately searching for guys they can inherently trust when the stadium lights are blinding, the crowd is deafening, and the entire season is on the line. Section 2. The kicking duel, the most talented competition. Let's transition over to the special teams side of the ball, because honestly, this is where the drama is the absolute thickest. For a franchise that was historically defined by the legendary decade-plus stability of Adam Vinatieri, finding a permanent answer at kicker is paramount. And entering training camp, the Indianapolis Colts boast what is arguably the most talented kicking competition in the entire National Football League. Now, you have to understand, this is not your traditional training camp scenario where a team just brings in some undrafted kid to act as a camp leg to take the physical pressure off an established veteran. Not at all. This is a true heavyweight prize fight between 2 men who have absolutely proven they are highly capable, viable starting options in this league. The stakes are completely black and white. Only one can win the job. The other? He'll likely be kicking for a rival team by the time September rolls around. The staggering backgrounds of our 2 contenders make this battle so deeply fascinating. On one side of the ring, you have Spencer Schrader. Last year, Schrader kicked off his first season as a full-time starter, and he was, quite frankly, electric. The guy was hitting an elite 92.9% of his field goals. He went 13 for 14 and nailed every single extra point he looked at. Think back to Week 2 against the Denver Broncos. That was his cinematic, star-making moment. He misses a 60-yard attempt, right? But a controversial leveraging call wipes it away, giving him a second life. In the ultimate display of having absolute ice in his veins, Schrader steps back up, brushes off the previous miss, and drills a 45-yard game winner right through the uprights. He was on top of the world. But then came Week 5. A brutal, entirely avoidable late hit on a routine extra point attempt resulted in a devastating torn ACL and MCL. Just like that, his breakout season was over in a blink. On the other side of the ledger, you have Blake Group.
Now, Group experienced the ruthless, unforgiving nature of the NFL firsthand when he was unceremoniously cut by the New Orleans Saints. But upon landing in Indianapolis late last season as Schrader's emergency injury replacement, Group flipped a switch. In his 5 games of relief for the Colts, playing under massive pressure, he was flawless. I mean, absolutely flawless. He went 11 for 11 on field goals and 10 for 10 on extra points. He hasn't missed a single live kick since donning the horseshoe.
Section 3, A Tale of Two Legs, Camp Performance. So the crucial point we need to look at is how this dramatic history is actually translating to the practice fields today. Now that Schrader is medically cleared and finally back on the turf, we are witnessing a genuine clash. And through 6 training camp practices, we're getting a very clear, very vivid picture of where both men currently stand. Kicking is arguably the most psychological position in all of professional sports. It is a lonely island out there. When you step onto the field, it's just you, the snap, the hold, and the uprights. There is no offensive line to truly mask your mistakes. There is no one to blame. And right now, the camp performance of these 2 athletes is telling an unfolding story of momentum versus recovery. Looking at the raw data, the contrast is incredibly stark. Blake Grupe has maintained his pristine record. He is going a perfect 12 for 12 on field goal attempts in camp. And even more impressive than that is his leg strength and accuracy from deep. He is an unblemished 4 for 4 on kicks beyond 50 yards. He is operating like a well-oiled machine right now, showcasing absolute mechanical perfection. Then, you look at Spencer Schrader. He's currently 9 for 12, with misses from 45, 50, and 57 yards. And to the trained eye, he looks exactly like a player who is returning from a catastrophic lower leg injury. The raw power, it still might be there, but the minute calibration, the deep muscle memory that takes years and years to perfect, is slightly misfiring. In a league where incredibly lucrative jobs are lost over fractions of an inch, those 3 misses from distance carry massive implications for his immediate future. It is incredibly rare for kickers to fully recover their elite mechanics immediately after an ACL tear. You have to realize the anatomy of a kicker's recovery goes so far beyond just trusting the joint again. Whether it's the intense torque required of the plant leg or the violent snapping follow-through of the kicking leg, every single micro-adjustment is amplified 1,000 times over. But you have to admire the incredible mental resilience of Spencer Schrader. After the first padded practice on Monday, he actually opened up about the grueling rehab process. He noted how blessed he felt to have the Colts' top-tier training staff getting his knees structurally back to normal as quickly as they did. But physical healing is only half the battle. Schrader freely admitted he's still working on his tempo, his timing, and finding his rhythm. He said, and I quote, "I've tried to frame it as like, I'm not trying to get back to where I once was. I'm trying to be the best version of myself right now." That is powerful. He is attempting to set a completely new standard for himself day in and day out, trying to simplify his mindset. It's a profound perspective for a young athlete who is literally fighting for his professional life. And the coaching staff? They're watching all of this unfold with a very careful, highly analytical eye. Special teams coordinator Brian Mason recently broke down exactly what is happening mechanically with Schrader right now. Mason noted that Schrader has been pulling kicks, including 2 recently on a Friday practice, which honestly is entirely expected. As Mason points out, the man didn't kick a football for 8 straight months. Think about that. The team fully expects him to have to feel through some mechanical issues during the heat of camp. They believe deeply in his sheer talent and his elite mental makeup to work through this rest. However, Mason also dropped a heavy dose of reality on the situation. He stated that by the end of training camp, they will strictly, objectively evaluate who is kicking at the highest level to give them the best chance in the regular season. Sympathy does not win football games. The NFL waits for no one. And looming over Schrader's grueling recovery is the cold, calculated efficiency of Blake Grupe. Grupe thrives in this high-pressure environment. He understands the cutthroat nature of the NFL better than anyone else out there. His mindset is razor sharp. When asked about it, he stated, "I'm comfortable in competition. It is what it is at our position. You're in the National Football League, so what do you expect?" Grupe acutely recognizes that a 5-week training camp might seem long on paper, but the actual live kicking reps are incredibly limited. "We don't kick every day," he said, "so you have to take advantage of your opportunities and not get cheated." Grupe is currently the undeniable favorite to win this job, and it's not just because of Schrader's rust. It's because Grupe has completely, ruthlessly maximized every single opportunity he's been handed. Section 4, Protecting Jonathan Taylor, the Offensive Void. Now let's move over to the offensive side of the ball and see how this builds a larger picture of the Colts roster strategy. We are transitioning from the lonely psychological island of the kickers to the brutal, high-impact trenches of the offensive backfield. Because just as the Colts need absolute certainty when they send out the field goal unit, they desperately need a contingency plan for their franchise running back. Here is the severe situation the front office is staring down right now. Following the 2023 season, Zach Moss departed the team in free agency. And listen, Moss wasn't just a body on the roster, he was a highly capable safety valve. Let's go deeper into what Moss actually provided. When Jonathan Taylor was dealing with a bitter contract dispute and early season injuries, Zach Moss stepped in and effectively saved the Colts' offense. He rushed for almost 800 yards and secured crucial early wins. He was the absolute lifeblood of the backfield for the first 8 weeks. His departure triggered a significant internal alarm inside the building. The coaching staff, led by Shane Station, has an urgent, documented desire to decrease Jonathan Taylor's overall workload this coming season. The math is simple, but the execution, it is incredibly difficult. You have to keep Taylor fresh for deep playoff run, and you simply cannot do that if he is taking every single punishing hit from September through December. The Colts absolutely must find a dependable RB2 to fill the massive shoes of Zach Moss, and they need to find him right now. I want you to look at this number on the screen, 300. In the modern, pass-heavy NFL, 300 carries is a massive, almost mythic threshold. It represents a staggering amount of physical trauma. Jonathan Taylor has logged back-to-back seasons with over 300 carries. Just let that sink in for a second. Historically, this is terrifying territory for a franchise. The NFL has long documented the 300-carry curse. When you look at the legacies of guys like DeMarco Murray, Larry Johnson, or Shaun Alexander, history shows us that pushing a running back past that 300-carry mark consistently leads to a massive, precipitous drop in efficiency the following year. Or even worse, a severe, career-altering injury. The human body can only take so many car crashes against 250-pound linebackers. Now, while Taylor has been an absolute freak of nature, remaining incredibly productive and relatively healthy through this gauntlet, history tells us that this kind of volume is a ticking clock for a running back's longevity. Eventually, the bill comes due. Finding an RB2 isn't a luxury for the Colts. It is a vital, non-negotiable requirement to protect the literal engine of their entire offense. Section 5. Emerging at running back. The candidates. So who steps into the fire? The Colts' position battle for the backup running back role has quietly become one of the most intense, pivotal storylines of this entire camp. The winner of this fight won't just be holding a clipboard on the sidelines. They are going to see significant snaps, they are going to get meaningful, heavy touches, and they are going to be tasked with keeping this offense on schedule. The two primary combatants have stepped into the ring to claim this massive responsibility. First up, we have Seth McGuan, a 7th-round rookie out of Kentucky. Generally speaking, 7th-round picks are just fighting to survive cuts, hoping to maybe snag a spot on the practice squad. But McGuan is aggressively turning heads. He's bringing a violent, physical, between-the-tackles running style that the coaching staff absolutely loves. He's out there showing he can handle the dirty work inside the hashes and absorb the brutal punishment that Taylor desperately needs a break from. Battling him is DJ Giddens. Giddens brings an entirely different flavor to the backfield. Coming out as an undrafted free agent, Giddens has had to fight tooth and nail for every single inch of respect he's gotten in this league. He is known for his versatility, showcasing excellent hands out of the backfield, and a highly intelligent grasp of pass protection. And let me tell you, that skill is absolutely mandatory if you want to see the field on third down in Shane Steichen's offense. If you can't block, you can't play. But right now, reports leaking out of camp indicate that the rookie Seth McGuan is making a very, very strong early impression. He currently holds a slight advantage in this critical battle. His aggressive style perfectly complements Taylor's explosive speed, making him an ideal candidate to shoulder those brutal inside carries. Section 6. The ultimate test. Preseason proving ground. Now, performing in shorts and practice pads is one thing. Executing when a live opposing defense actually wants to tear your head off is another reality entirely. The true evaluation hasn't even started yet. The ultimate test for both the kickers and the running backs is the looming 3-game preseason slate. All the camp stats, all the optimistic quotes to the media, and all those fancy practice highlights, they will be stripped away, leaving only in-game execution. The coaching staff is being incredibly surgical with their evaluation process, specifically with the kickers. They are leaving absolutely nothing to chance. Coach Brian Mason outlined exactly how they will handle the preseason games to ensure total, absolute fairness between Group and Schrader. Step 1. In the first game, they are literally going to split the game in half. One guy kicks the first 2 quarters, the other kicks the final 2. Step 2. They will meticulously track the total live kicks each player actually gets to attempt. Because obviously, you can't control how many times the offense stalls in field goal range, so the opportunities will naturally be skewed. You might have one guy kick 3 times and the other 0. So, step 3. As they move to the second and third preseason games, the coaching staff will actively adjust and try to even out the kick counts. They want to ensure a perfectly balanced apples-to-apples data set before they make their final season-altering decision. It is a brilliant, high-pressure science experiment. And that brings us to the final dramatic precipice. Who will seize these high-stakes roles when the preseason lights finally come on? Will Spencer Schrader overcome his 8 months of agonizing rust and reclaim his job? Or will Blake Group's flawless, machine-like precision prove completely impossible for the front office to ignore? Will rookie Seth McGowan secure the vital role of protecting Jonathan Taylor's longevity? Or will DJ Giddens flip the depth chart once the real live hitting begins? These are the brutal, uncompromising margins where NFL championships are truly built. Thank you for diving into the trenches with us today on NFL Nexus. We'll be tracking every single kick and every single carry as this critical training camp unfolds. Don't forget to subscribe, drop a like on this explainer, leave your predictions down in the comments below, and please consider becoming a channel member to support this kind of deep dive content. Until next time, keep your eyes on the margins.